What's up, guys? This is Pressure back with play number 6. So this is more of a concept instead of an actual play itself. But of course, this is going to be used out of 3-4 over. And it's going to be a concept that you can use out of any single play that you use. I've showed you guys blitzes. I've showed you guys halfback wham defense. I showed you guys how I like to run cover 2. This can also be applied to the cover 2. This could be applied to the cover 4, cover 3, cover 2 man, anything with a pass rusher that's blitzing off their right side. So that outside linebacker that's on the right side of the screen, any play that he's blitzing out of, as you see here, the 3-4 over cover 6 press, the cover 4 Sam, cover 3 match, cover 2 hard flat, cover 3 sky, Tampa 2, cover 2 sink, cover 2 man. I don't know if I said that one yet, but any of these plays, okay, you can run this concept with. So we're just going to come out and run, we'll do the cover 3 match. We'll run this against a passing set because, again, this is the concept that I use for a base pass rush, okay? So the setup is the exact same as all the other plays. You're going to base a line. You're going to shift the line to the right, which is L1 or RB and to the right. Shift the linebackers up, which is R1 or RB and up. All right? Now, the next step that you're going to do is you're going to crash the line up. So that's L1 and up on the right analog stick. Okay? The next step is I like to contain. And again, this is only for passing when you know your opponent's passing a football. And I like to use her this middle linebacker here on the screen. Occasionally, you can use her this one. It's actually entirely up to you, whichever one you like, but I like to use this one. And what I like to do is I like to stand over here like I'm trying to bring pressure, except it's not really pressure, it's just a base pass rush. Now, what your opponent might do, thinking that you could be potentially blitzing this outside line or this middle linebacker or trying to bring pressure, he might actually slide protect his line to the right side. He might actually slide protect his line to the left side, thinking that this guy might blitz. So it's a lot of confusion because if you're mixing in the other plays with this base pass rush, your opponent could be thinking that there's more pressure that's coming when obviously there's not. But this is what I like to do. I like to hold the left trigger. Your opponent's going to hike the ball. And again, it's nothing crazy. It's just a base pass rush. And what happens is it's kind of like an overload on the right side. Your opponent may or may not freak out depending on how good they are with their pocket composure, pocket presence. And a lot of the times they may end up taking off and scrambling to the right side, or I'm sorry, to the left side. And the left side is where you have your containment. So I'm going to show you an example of what somebody you will be playing may do. I'm not saying that they will, I'm saying they may. And then they may be like, oh no, the pressure's coming, and they run right into the containment. Okay? That's an example of what your opponent may do. Now, something else that may happen with you standing over here is, again, depending on what game mode you're playing, whether it be salary cap champions, they may not have the best offensive line, and sometimes what happens is this outside linebacker or even one of these D linemen end up looping around free. They end up getting missed, they don't get picked up, and they loop around and they sack the quarterback. Now, this may not happen in this example because it's practice mode and it's against a decent offensive line, but this is something that, right there, boom. It's funny, it just worked, and I didn't think it would. So that right there is just how this play works on occasion. Again, it's not this. Don't expect these results here to happen every single time, okay? Don't expect your guy to break free every single time, but this is how I like to use the base pass rush because a general pass rush out of the 3-4 with only bringing 4 guys is not the best. You have to kind of get creative on how you can send 4 and get creative with the pressure, and I feel like this is the best way for this formation and the way that we're running this scheme to get, you know, a decent pass rush. Okay? So as you see there, he breaks free and he gets to the quarterback. Now again, this is not going to happen every single time, but keep in mind that you can run this out of any play with the outside linebacker that's blitzing over here. Now, you could also run any single play. It don't even have to have an outside linebacker blitzing over here because you can obviously create that blitzer on the right side. Okay? You can create that blitzer from the left side. From the right side. Alright? But it's just easier if you already have the guy blitzing over there, so that's one less adjustment you don't have to make. but I'm going to run this one time out of the Tampa 2 to show you that this can also be ran. And keep in mind, you can stand wherever you like with a middle linebacker. Just make sure you hold the left trigger. Okay, and again, you could stand with this guy and hold the left trigger, but I like to stand with this one. So we're going to hold the left trigger, call hike, and they all get picked up, and that's perfectly fine. But eventually somebody's going to break through, and they can't run to the left because of the contain. And if they run to the right, there's too many guys blitzing off that side, you know, and they're going to end up getting sacked. So hopefully this video makes sense to you guys. This is just my concept on how I like to use a base pass rush. This is nothing fancy. You know, it's nothing crazy, but you can run this out of any single coverage out of this formation. Just set it up the exact same way that I showed you, and trust me, you'll have success, especially when you're mixing up the other coverages and the other blitzes. Alright guys, play 7, coming next.